The U.S. Departments of Veterans Affairs and Housing and Urban Development report a 7% drop in the numbers of homeless veterans throughout the U.S. this past year, but not in San Diego County. Those numbers actually rose here. Joining me on our weekly roundtable with details from a recent report is Jeanette Steele of UT San Diego. Jeanette, thanks for joining us.
It's my pleasure.
How many homeless veterans are there in San Diego right now?
Right. So on one night in January, every year they count homeless veterans, and they discovered that there were a little more than 1,750 in San Diego County.
So that's up.
It's up about 100 from the prior January, yeah.
Now, more than 1,000 veterans attended San Diego Stand Down this past summer. We can have some video of that so people can see that. How do the numbers of homeless vets here compare to the rest of the nation?
Right. Well, what we can tell is that San Diego is one of the biggest concentrations of new veterans, of post 9/11 veterans, and we know nationally that post 9/11 veterans are about 9% of all homeless veterans, and we know that 5 states, including San Diego, or including California, have the most, more than half of the nation's homeless. So
yeah,
those are
Texas, California, and Georgia, I think.
New York.
Yeah, so we're in the upper echelon.
Right.
What does the VA say that's behind this higher numbers of veterans, especially here in San Diego?
Right, and why is it in contrast to the national trend? You know, they don't have really good answers, but here are some elements that might be high unemployment here. And as we know, unemployment among young veterans is higher than the national average. We know that thousands of Marines and sailors are discharged here in San Diego every year, and so they're concentrated here in that kind of fragile time when they're trying to figure out how to become a civilian and trying to get a job. And then we also know every year it seems like more people go out and want to be part of this count that they do every January. And this year there were like 750 people went out to do the count. And so there's one theory that if more people are counting, they're necessarily going to find more veterans.
So that might be
that they're going to find more.
It's not necessarily that there's that much more. We just may be counting them a little more efficiently.
There are more people counting, yeah.
Okay. What about in San Diego? Is there anything else, let's say mental health services, lack of ability to get these services that people need, that you think maybe could contribute to the problem of us having kind of going against the national trend?
Well, the VA, the VA has this program to try to end homelessness among veterans by 2015, and so they're pouring a ton of resources into it. And so the problem is just really, are veterans plugging into these resources? And some of the reasons that they might not be plugging into the resources are substance abuse, not just not knowing about the resources that are there, and just not being kind of ready to address whatever issues are in their lives that are not allowing them to have a normal life.
Let's talk more about that, because it's President Obama who started this. You and I were talking years ago, but by 2015, that's only 2 years from now, he said he wants to end homelessness among veterans. The VA has earmarked $300 billion to make this happen. Here in San Diego, there's some programs, some new programs.
Right.
So what's out there as far as what's new for veterans?
Right. So in the last couple of years, they have announced some new programs that are here in San Diego. One of them just last week, VA Secretary Shinseki announced they were going to triple the amount of funding for it. It's called Supportive Services for Veterans and Their Families. And basically, this is a program that's only maybe a year or two old. It's here in San Diego, and you can basically get help for like covering your mortgage, help kind of it's a bridge help if you need it to try to not fall into becoming homeless and then chronically homeless. Another program is a demonstration program. Here it's trying to focus on young vets. We're one of 5 cities in the nation that has it, and this is a similar kind of thing where they'll give you bridge money to cover your utilities or your rent so you can stay in your house. And then one of the more exciting things, and expensive, is this Aspire Center that the VA plans to open in the summer in Old Town. We're one of 5 in the nation that were funded, and it's a 5-year project, and it's going to be 40 beds, and it's for younger veterans who need more help than just outpatient therapy, but don't need to be hospitalized at the La Jolla VA.
Where should families turn if they realize that maybe somebody in their family member who's a veteran is struggling? How should they reach out?
Right. So the VA in La Jolla is actually, veterans in the community say that they give quite good care here. I know the VA gets a bad rap nationally, especially about how long it takes to get your claim processed. But they have increased the number of mental health counselors here. There are a number of 1-800 numbers. There's I think it's called My Vet. Is a website. So you just basically have to call and get tied in.
Reach out, and maybe start at the Veterans Hospital. We're out of time, so Jeanette Steele of UT San Diego, thanks so much for talking with us.
Thank you.